Between 7 and 8, David took the elevator because the seventh-floor stairwell smelled like wet gypsum. He had tried the stairs for his heart, but the handrail left grey on his palm and the landing light buzzed into his skull. The elevator, by contrast, had a rhythm he trusted. Doors breathing shut, a clean beep when his fob met the reader, the small lift of stomach on the rise. Towels folded square, mug back to its ring on the second shelf, fridge humming at an aquarium filter pitch. Routine held the shape of things. Palmette Terrace sat back from the boulevard, terrace making up for the lot. 7th floor, south side. He proofed catalogue copy at his table. Receipts curled warm into a dish by the door. One cold morning he pressed 7 with a knuckle, as always. The screen counted 1, 2, 3. The car did not slow at 7. The number advanced to 8, a circle over a circle. Pressure pricked behind his ears. A ring of light woke around a button he had never seen lit. The cab slowed with a grit drag and stopped. When the doors parted, a damp smell moved over his face, earth and cardboard. The floor beyond was tamped dirt. Brick walls showed under peeling paint. Initials scratched the mortar. A number sunk low in a corner brick. 8. Rusted, as if it had always been there. He hit door close. The doors agreed slowly. A long, pale hand entered the wedge. Slim, patient, knuckles like window stones, and held the seam. The doors opened again. Something behind that hand adjusted its weight. He reached for 1. The cab obeyed and unwound the numbers. At 3, he gave a small bark of relief that embarrassed him. The lobby reappeared with its green chairs and dying plant. Outside, exhaust and bakery heat braided the air. He went 2 blocks before turning back. People balanced coffee and keys as if nothing weighed anything. At home, he boiled water and let it sit. A vendor would fix the panel, he told himself. Sensors, recalibration, nothing to worry about. The next morning, the stairwell door wore a notice taped with blue tape that never quite holds. Stairwell, a temporarily unavailable. Paint, use, stairwell, C, or elevator. He could not remember there being a stairwell C. He rode with neighbors. Right before sleep, a hum like the elevator seemed to move through his wall. He decided it was the fridge. Small shifts followed. Yellow held longer at Mulberry. The tap clicked as if a finger tapped back. He woke at night as if missing a step. Not fear yet, only a tilt. On Sunday, the building emailed a water notice for floors 5 through 7. Run the tap 15 minutes for peace of mind. He did. The second glass smelled like warm concrete after rain. He mentioned 8 to the desk. The attendant called it a phantom call. 2 cabs talking. Upstairs he found a crescent of dirt under a nail he did not remember earning. On Wednesday, the doors opened at 3 and held. A man in a cap and a woman with a tote faced forward. David pressed 7. The car closed, stopped at 5, then showed 6 and then nothing. He pressed 7 again. The button beeped. Wrong, the woman said very quietly. The doors opened. Cold air breathed. Dirt floor, brick walls, the pale fall of elevator light that poured and settled. Rust and cool soil in the nose. Door, the man said. David touched the button. The doors considered and then refused. In the wedge, the long hand steadied, intelligent in its patience. It did not grab. It held the seam as if time were on its side. No one moved. Dust did. The car closed at last. Numbers unwound. Carpet rose under his shoe. He didn't sleep. The fridge clicked off. The room held its breath. He folded his towel. When he was 8, a carousel horse showed a crack where paint lifted, revealing brown wood. A thing pretending to be alive declared itself not alive. The rider had to declare himself. Alive, soft, slow, astride something that would not meet him halfway. He had listened to the music go around without him. By Friday, 7's water ran clear, but tasted of pavement heat. New signs rerouted elevator use, but were taped wrong. At 10, he pressed the call. Doors opened. The ring around 8 woke like an eyelid. Pressure pooled in his ears. He felt the hallway before it showed itself. Cooler air, then the indifference of things that do not recognize you. He stepped forward because you go where doors open. Dirt underfoot gave and then held. The corridor widened left and right and then narrowed again, as if distance could bend. Smells declared themselves: spider dust, damp mortar, old electric. He kept a hand on brick and went left. A low grill showed a slice of his own corridor, the red runner, the small dent in the padding. Something breathed through. "David?" a voice said, softened by metal. Mrs. Kana from 7C. Above or around the corner, he could not tell. He went on. A ledge held a receipt. Yesterday's purchase. Milk, bread, soap, time correct, numbers correct, except the thank you ended before the why. He folded it and pocketed it. At the end of the left, reach a door with no knob was warm under his palm. He went right. The elevator's square had dimmed to paint black gray. 28 steps and a bend and a second grill, lower than the first. Behind it, the inside of a cab, as a mirror sees a room. The long hand appeared when he had almost stopped fearing it. It touched a seam in the brick, then lay flat, listening with its palm. Not pursuit. Invitation dressed as patience. He could continue. He could turn back. Time held both open. "I'm going," he said, not to it. He walked toward the light so it would grow. He pressed the call early to be kind to machines. The car opened with a shudder. He stepped in and did not look at his face in the steel. He put water in the kettle and forgot to turn it on. Yellow held and released at Mulberry. He smoothed his receipts. He slept an hour and woke tasting iron. In the morning, a sign. Elevator, access intermittent. A technician leaned into a panel and said there was a ghost call on 8, 2 cars talking, and that they would isolate. To a woman worrying over groceries, he told her to be patient. The machine learns. David Road, 7 lit, numbers counted, doors opened on carpeting, and the smell of someone's soup. The other receipt warmed in his pocket as if it had mild life. He waited 3 days. He told himself he wouldn't go, then that he would. On the 4th night, he pressed the call and didn't care which car came. The ring around 8 woke. The doors exhaled into a corridor whose air had basement cool. He stepped out without ceremony, as if he had remembered a left-behind thing. The hall took him right and down a grade that might have been imagined. In a niche, a folded towel waited with even edges. He touched it. A memory arrived without picture, only hands repeating an action until action felt like thought. He left the towel. An opening gave out machine breath, compressor clicks, a low whine. Inside were 2 cabinets with faces open, wires combed into ribbons, a plastic tube dripping into a rust tray. On the lip stood 3 mugs, his among them, chip turned outward, a bright crescent. He had not brought it. He could not say he hadn't. The long hand rested on a cabinet. Fingers curled and uncurled at the rate of counted breaths, the color of wrist undersides. "Will it be long?" he asked, courteous without thinking. The floor adjusted, a settling, the compressor clicked and stopped. In the quiet, a faint wire whine, the song old televisions give to themselves. He thought of the carousel horse and how he had once refused to get on. He did not go farther. He turned back down the corridor that worked on him like evening, softening edges and offering fewer doors. He pressed the button too many times. The cab opened like a mouth. He stepped in. The panel still showed 8. He did not press close. The car decided to. It dropped and returned him to soup and carpet and a hallway he could name. At home, he washed his mug twice. He set it with the chip to the wall. He folded his towel. He slid the below-floor receipt to the bottom of his stack and pressed the stack with his palm. When he killed the kitchen light, the hum remained, as if the room had learned to hum without a machine. He slept into a darkness with more shape. He woke once and listened to the building breathe through its new hole. Morning would make its own shape, and the elevator would be part of it. He hasn't told anyone, To tell would make the edges too clean. The ghost call will resolve in a memo and be replaced by a different memo. Yellow will hold a few seconds more until it doesn't. The towel will dry square. The mug will keep its chip. He waits an extra beat now before holding a door. On certain nights, the elevator pauses between 7 and 8, and the panel shows nothing. The air tightens and releases like a careful breath. He thinks of the warm towel in the niche, receipts curling damp on brick, the 3 mugs in a line. The hand becomes punctuation, the slow period ending a sentence written in a grammar older than the lobby's gloss. He thinks the 8th floor is not above, but alongside, and that places grow edges when the lives inside keep too tidy a routine. In the mail, he finds a notice about intermittent power events and a request to avoid non-essential trips. He sets it on the counter. Somewhere a compressor clicks and the building swallows it. He turns his mug so the chip faces out and stands with his hand on the door, watching his hesitation like a light sliding from red to patience to green. When he rides, because he rides, he presses 7 with the back of his knuckle. The car lifts. If 8 asks, he will go. If it does not, his day will make other shapes. Either way, the cable has him, and his breath keeps time with the rise, in, out, listening for when the machine decides to stop.